In this video we shall discuss about data and information, difference between data and information, and also what are the data types. Okay, so the main function of a computer is processing the data. So that is the main function of the computer. So the computer will consider everything as data. It can be, the data means it can be instructions, it can be pictures, songs, videos, documents. So anything will be considered as the data by the computer. Okay, so when we say data, it is unorganized facts. Okay, data means it is unorganized facts, or it is raw data. Okay, so for example, if a user enters some values like 80, 90, 75, so he is entering some values, and here also we can give 60. So these are some random numbers. So this is called as data. So when the data is given as an input to the computer will process this data and it will find out the total marks. Okay, so let us say that this is the data of a student who has scored marks in his exam. Okay, so these are the marks of a student. So when we give these marks as input to the computer, it will process this data and it will calculate the total marks. Okay, so total marks. So we call this as the data, and the computer will process this total marks and it will give us the total. Okay, so it will give some value. For example, if it will calculate the average, we shall say it will calculate the average marks. Okay, so when it gives the average marks, we say that this as an information. Okay, so these are random values. When the computer processes these unorganized or random values and it converts or changes into a meaningful data, we call it as an information. So that is information, meaningful information. Okay, so that is the difference between data and information. Data will be unorganized facts, it will not have any meaning, whereas information will be an organized and meaningful data. And what is knowledge? So people usually confuse data, information and knowledge. Knowledge means using this information, the human will take decisions or actions. In this case, based on the average marks scored by the student, the teacher will decide whether he needs extra coaching or not, how he has performed the exams. So he will use this information processed by the computer and he will make decisions based on that. So that is knowledge. So this is the difference between data, information and knowledge. Okay, and next is data and its type. Okay, so here we see that the computer has many input devices. Computer has many input devices. So in the input devices, it will give raw data. Okay, the user will enter the raw data. The data can be in the form of instructions. It can be in the form of instructions, or it can be simply facts, etc. Okay, so this information will be stored in the binary form. Binary form means it will be either zeros and ones. But the user will not enter the raw data as zeros and ones. How the user will enter? He will give in English alphabets. He will enter the input. The user will enter the input in English alphabets like A to Z. It can be an uppercase alphabet or a lowercase alphabet, and he can enter the numerals 0 to 9, and he can enter some special symbols like at, hash. So these are some special symbols. Okay, so user will give his input in this format, but the data will be stored in the binary form, that is 0 and 1. Okay, so the input data can be from different sources, and so it can be in different form. For example, if the input data is an image, then the image is a collection of pixels, isn't it? So similarly, if the input is a video, then it is made up of frames. So if it is a fee receipt, if the user is entering a details about the fee receipt, then it will have many numbers and non-numerical characters. So the input can be in different forms, but the user will enter the input in using the alphabets, numerals and special symbols. It will be stored in the computer in the form of binary form, that is zeros and ones. Okay, so based on this, we classify the data into 3 types. There are 3 types of data. So one is the structured data. Okay, next is the unstructured data, and the third one is the semi-structured data. We shall see one by one. The first one is the structured data. So structured data means, we can from the name itself we can understand that the data will be organized. Okay, it will be in a it will have a structure. So it will be arranged in a proper order, so that it will be easy to comprehend. Comprehend means it is easy to understand. Okay, it is easy for the user to understand. Comprehend means understand. Okay, so that is called as structured data. So the data will be in the table form. For example, this is the monthly attendance records of the students. Here the roll number, name, month and the attendance is given. So it is arranged in a particular order. So from this we can easily understand, this is some attendance records and this is the roll number 1 student. His name is Mohan. In the month of May, he has secured 95%. So we are able to understand the details very clearly. So that is structured data. So the data in the structured data, the data will be organized in row and column. Okay, so it is easily understandable. So this is the main point you have to write. If they ask you up to explain about what are the different types of data, the first one is the structured data. The data will be organized in the row and column, so it is easily understandable. And also it will be sorted in either ascending order or descending order. There will be some kind of arrangements will be there. Okay, for in this case, if the attendance data, it is stored in increasing order or based on the number of days he attended the class, or based on the month we can arrange the data. So that is structured data. Other examples for structured data are sales transactions, online railway tickets, bookings and ATM transactions. So these are some examples of the structured data. And the second one is unstructured data. So unstructured data means it is opposite to that of the structured data. The data will not be organized in a predefined format. It will not have any specific format. For example, it may contain audio files, video files, graphics, text documents. It can contain some social media posts, satellite images. So it will have a collection of different types of data. Okay, and it will not be arranged in a particular format. So that is unstructured data. So this is the example for the unstructured data. This is the monthly report of a student. So in this, if you see, there are some images included in this data, roll number is given and signature is there, okay, and we have some pictures and also we have some alphabets, numerical values, and there is no particular format. So this is unstructured data. And the third one is semi-structured data. Okay, semi-structured data means it will not have a well-defined structure, no well-defined structure, but it will maintain some internal tags or markings to separate the data elements. Okay, so there will not be a well-defined structure, but we will use some tags or markings to separate the data. For example, in the case of email documents or in the case of HTML page, we etc., it is semi-structured data. Okay, so in this case also there is no specific format for each attendance record. Here each data is preceded by a tag. Tag means here the name, before the name, student name, we give a tag name. Similarly, before the month, we give a tag name month. Okay, so based on this tag, we are able to arrange the data. So in the structured data, everything was arranged under a particular title, isn't it? Whereas here for each data we give a tag or a marking. So it is this tag or marking is used for the interpretation of the data while processing. So this is about the data and its types. Okay, so in this video we discussed about the difference between data and information. Data is raw and unorganized facts, whereas information is organized and meaningful data. The user will enter the raw data, the computer will process it and convert it into a meaningful information. Based on that information, humans will take the decision, which is called as the knowledge. And the three types of data are, and before that we saw that the data entered by the user will be in English alphabets, numerals and special symbols. But in the computer, it will be stored in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, so there are three different types of data: structured data, unstructured data and semi-structured data. So thank you for watching the video.